Dare or not, she was done. She moved her leg out of range and glared at the guy standing next to her. "Touch me again, and you'll draw back nubs for fingers." Ethan stood at the bar and watched the exchange with amused interest. The guy must have figured out by now that he was destined to go down in flames, just like the other 5 ahead of him. That is, unless she preferred the type of guy who was addicted to hair gel and orange tans. Turning to get a better view, he leaned his elbow against the bar and continued to enjoy his beer along with the profile of the woman dressed in a peach halter dress that enhanced her light golden-brown skin. A light ocean breeze played in her dark curly hair, providing glimpses of her slim cheekbones, full lips, and the promise of it all fitting together beautifully. She crossed her shapely legs, and his gaze moved from the strappy stiletto heels on her feet to where the hem of her dress ended at mid-thigh. The woman's slow, unconscious movement of flipping her hair over her bare shoulder brought his attention back up to the curves of her breasts. When she raised her wine glass, his gaze followed it all the way up to her plum-colored lips. Sexy, sophisticated, tempting. No wonder every guy in the bar had his eye on her. The way she carried herself made a man want to find out more about her scent, her touch, the softness of her skin, and what she preferred to wear next to it. Silk, lace, satin, or maybe nothing at all. His money was on lace. Ethan's cock stirred in interest, and he adjusted his stance. Maybe he would reconsider calling it an early night. A familiar laugh rose from the middle of the lounge, and he looked over at his friend, Mitch, standing at a table between a long-haired platinum blonde and a wavy-haired brunette. The blonde laughed and ran her fingers over his shaved head, while the brunette on the other side rested her ample cleavage on his arm. Ethan breathed out a chuckle. He'd agreed to come to the bar to be Mitch's wingman tonight, but the tipsy brunette making a grab for his crotch less than 2 minutes after they'd met wasn't a part of the deal. At 32, like most red-blooded males, he wasn't averse to an invitation, but he appreciated sobriety and a small amount of subtlety. When the opportunity had come up, he'd volunteered to go to the bar and order more drinks, but had sent them back over with a server. He returned his attention to the woman sitting across the deck. Was she secretly getting off on busting the chops of every guy she turned down, or did she really want to sit there alone tonight? He couldn't stand the type who enjoyed verbally kicking a guy in the balls as a power trip, but if her thing was about not settling for less, especially considering the yahoos who'd shown up at her table, he understood. Lately, he'd grown tired of dragging ass to some tired bar, drinking the usual, and running the same usual tired lines that brought the usual to his bed. Hell, not that he was ready to settle into a recliner or twirl around on a riding lawnmower any time soon. He'd followed in his father's footsteps and joined the army when he was 18. 9 of those 12 years he'd spent with Mitch in Special Forces, keeping pace and living to serve his country. Making the transition 2 years ago from full-time soldier to civilian security specialist suited him, but with the long stretches of travel, that still meant no long-term relationships. At the most, he could give a woman a few weeks or a couple of months. Ethan ran the scenario of spending time with someone like the mystery woman through his mind. She didn't look like the constant club and party type, which meant they would probably stay in most of the time. That was fine with him. They could kick back and watch a game or a movie. He'd even cook. As an only child and a latchkey kid, his mom had made sure he'd known how to do more than just boil water. Partly because she refused to raise a lazy son, but she also wanted to make sure he knew how to take care of himself. His thoughts drifted back to the memory of his mom working 2 jobs after losing his dad. She'd focused all her time and energy on raising him. Joining the army right after high school was his gift to her, so she could have more time for herself. Of course, she was proud of him, but she also worried. He hated